Hello everyone and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments and this is a Grand Arena video. Just getting that out of the way at the start. This is going to be the best deck by the numbers for every champion. But I thought some of you might still be looking for fantastic first steps. So I just want you to know right at the start, we are getting fantastic first. One of the very best cards in Marvel Snap right now. If you want to win him, all you have to do is subscribe, like, and then leave a comment. I'll tell you what specific comment to leave later this video. For Grand Arena, we have a banned list, still banned. You can only have one champion per deck, so whatever your champion is, the other champions are fundamentally banned. Gorgon, Spider-Ham, Galactus, Mr. Negative, Black Bolt, Nimrod, Living Tribunal, Mobius, Professor X, Wiccan, and Kang. Those were the initial banned cards. Joining them were Agatha, who is completely broken in Doctor Doom decks, where you can play Doom Spell on turn 2 and Agatha on 3, fundamentally thinning your deck and giving you 14 power on turn 2 every single game. We also have Sarah, who is just too good on turn 4 in so many decks. Cannonball, who's sort of a no fun card, right? One Shang-Chi is certainly enough, we don't need two. Alioth, who basically made Invisible Woman an unplayable champion. Storm, banned for the same reasons as Professor X, you want the game mode to be fun and playable. Viper is banned also so that the mode is fun and playable, but Clog was everywhere. Clog was extremely strong. But the other reason Viper is banned is some people were doing Carnage shenanigans where they were Vipering over Carnage and then using the Carnage spell in order to kill the opponent's side of the board. And of course, we have Juggernaut, who has the same basic concept as Cannonball. We don't want these cheap, easy lane winners. Negasonic is enough. Negasonic takes more skill. Juggernaut is a little too easy to use. So these were fundamentally the best cards in the mode. They were in all the best decks. All the best decks had to be remade, right? Or most of the best decks anyway, had to be basically remade from the ground up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through every champion, starting with Reed Richards and the Council of Reeds, starting with Mr. Fantastic, and we're going to say what their best deck is and go over how to play it. The Council of Reeds is still a fairly cool ability. It's still like having a extra surge as a spell is very cool. But the problem with the Council of Reeds is that, well, as we go through this video, you're going to see a ton of Enchantress. Almost every top deck is running Enchantress, and Council of Reeds run a pure ongoing deck. That's not really a good matchup, right? That's the end of that. Nevertheless, a 61% win rate in 1,000 games is still pretty damn good for the Mr. Fantastic list. Obviously, this doesn't run Sarah. It used to run Sarah. It used to run Sarah because Sarah and Onslaught on 4 and 5 was nearly broken. Instead, now it just goes back to running some more power, some more points, and saying I'm going to try and ramp out cards in order to win using the using the Mr. Fantastic skill Council of Reeds. This deck is just all about putting out power. We have Goliath, we have Captain Carter, Captain America, Spectrum, Iron Man, Moonstone as our power cards. Moonstone on either a Mystique that has copied Iron Man or Captain America, or Goliath, or the Goliath Captain America themselves is absurdly strong. You win a lot of mirrors through Super Skrull, and you can steal a lot of games through Cosmo. This deck genuinely puts out an absolute ton of points. It's really, really fun, but you need to hit the Cosmo at the right time, or Enchantress sort of eats your lunch. And like, what's worse than Enchantress really kind of eating your lunch here is that, like, even if you get that Cosmo down, right, people can still go over you in one lane. You have to win two. So Enchantress in the non-Cosmo lane, and then the third lane you very rarely have enough to compete in. This one is really good. 61% in 1,000 games is great, don't get me wrong, but it is a deck that's hampered by the format, at least right now. Again, you'll see this as we go forward. Next up, we have the Force Field. Force Field is a 0-cost spell. On reveal, give your champion +1 power for each unrevealed card at its location. You get that much energy next turn. This one is pretty cool. Is it amazing? No. But it's better now because, well, honestly, it's better now because Alioth was making Invisible Woman freaking unplayable. Turns out that, like, Invisible Woman's just kind of a mediocre enough card. Even as a 2/4 that the still isn't great. The stats still are not through the roof, but at least they're, like, it's playable now. It went from unplayable to playable, even if it's still not the best thing to be doing in this mode. We have a 56% win rate in 190 games for this deck. This is sort of like an old Stefan Supergiant deck. It's a cool idea. I'm shocked to not see Negasonic Teenage Warhead here, but this one puts up a ton of points, and it is fundamentally tech soup. This is the first of many, many different varieties of tech soup we're going to see. This one uses Ronin as this power play at the end of the game. You want to play Ronin with Maximus, and you can play your Master Mold earlier, making sure your opponent has a lot of cards and winning the game that way. Claw lets you steal some lanes unexpectedly. Supergiant ruins a lot of opponents' plans as they're trying to do some like crazy combo stuff, right? If they, for example, Invisible Woman First Steps is one of the best cards in the game right now, and Supergiant on turn at the right turn when they would be playing their Invisible Woman, if you can time that right, will ruin their stuff. They either don't get the end of turn cards out to be triggered by Supergiant, to be triggered by Invisible Woman, or they don't get the Invisible Woman First Steps herself down, and either one of those are extremely, extremely powerful places to be. This one is, again, trying to use cards like Cosmo, to like, if when you play Supergiant, you see where they play, and then you could drop a Cosmo there. You can hide a Shang-Chi in a spot they already have big cards, like wherever they have their Herby. Copycat can grab powerful stuff, and Shadow King can turn off their big stuff. Lots of powerful plays here. Cool deck, but I'm going to be honest, this is one of the lower win rates and one of the lower play rate cards, arguably the worst of the champions, although it is cool to see Invisible Woman as a 2/4. Next up, we've got Human Torch, who's was really, really cool for a while with the Wong combo as sort of like these go over the top crazy decks. Those have completely disappeared. Those are just gone. There's just too much Shadow King. There's too much Shang-Chi to be able to do that kind of shenanigans. It's really unfortunate. It was very fun for a while, but without it, Flame On is fine and Surfer is fine, but it's not great. So we've got a few different buff versions, but like they're all in the very, very, very low sample size. We're talking barely 40 games. This one has 61% win rate in 170 games. It is what if I did Tech Soup with Surfer, right? I'm going to use Surfer as a power package. I've got Galactic Gwenpool, and then I've got Surge and Mr. Fantastic and Fastos to try and buff Shaw, Brood, and obviously Torch. It comes in hand and can be buffed by Gwenpool or Mr. Fantastic, and so we've got these late combos, and then so we're going to try and win a lane off the back of that stuff, and then we're going to try and win a lane off Shang Enchantress, and it's fairly simple, it's fairly effective, it's fairly powerful. Again, 61% and 870. That's the same basic win rate. That's the same basic thing we just saw from the previous Mr. Fantastic deck. So look, Human Torch doing as well as Mr. Fantastic in this sort of like, I don't know what to call this. In this shell is pretty impressive. It's pretty good. Is it the best thing in the game? No. Is it the thing that you should definitely be doing? Probably not. But if you like Surf, this isn't like one that's super expensive to get into, and it's one that is seemingly worth playing. Next up, we've got Clobber Time. And the Thing has proved to be absolutely stellar in this mode throughout the entire history of the mode. Since this came out, Thing has been sort of the sleeper card. He is a top-notch champion, and his ability that basically turns him into a 18 to 20 power card that then also destroys a card is amazing. And extra energy makes it really easy to fill the lane, and what's more, he's an end of turn card. So what is probably right now the best standard ass normal deck is the high evolutionary deck that runs double Invisible Woman through the use of Prodigy, the butt deck that is all over the place. Well, it turns out that deck is also probably the best in this mode, where like sometimes on ladder it's doing things like cutting the Thing to just not have that, like to have that lower cost curve so it can more easily fit Fantastic or Invisible Woman in the deck. In the mode that has extra energy, that doesn't matter, and this deck just puts up a ton of points as such, while also being like not totally safe, but relatively safe from tech, because a lot of the time your giant buff stuff is going to happen on the last turn at the end of the game after tech has already happened. So this one is probably the best deck, 74% win rate in 100 games. The numbers bear out exactly how good this is. There's one more that's nearly as good, but this is like where you want to be. I'm playing a sort of stranger version of this. I'm running like She-Hulk and Hulk because I think it's more fun, and I'm still winning a ton. So if you want, you can like mix and match in this. I think that this is, again, just a monster of a deck. I don't know, like one of the best things you could possibly do in Marvel Snap right now, whether it be on ladder or in Grand Arena. It's so wild that Invisible Woman has completely turned the metagame on its head. Like I was playing just regular non-Invisible Woman decks earlier. This is an aside, I know, but on ladder, and so many people are running Killmonger to deal with the like giant sunspots that are all over the place. It's completely ridiculous. That's not really the case though in Grand Arena. We're not seeing Killmonger. We're seeing cards that don't stop this deck. So this is where you want to be. Next up, we got Herby, who his skill is now actually 4 cost, not 3. So this was the very best of the cards. It is now, largely thanks to Invisible Woman being so good in Thing decks, no longer necessarily the best. It is still top notch, but the 4 cost nature of the helpful assistance has really hurt it. So this is the best, but it's no longer like in a tier by itself. Oh my god, why would I ever play anything else? Now it's just great. All right, the Herby deck sucks. This is the other really high win rate deck, 75% win rate in 51 games. There's a few different varieties of this, and this is like as pure ass tech soup as we get, right? Not only are we running Shadow King, not only are we running Negasonic, Shang, Enchantress, right? Like we've also got Fenris Wolf to really benefit from all that stuff. We've got Surge for the extra energy, not Mr. Fantastic First Step, Surge for the extra energy, Herby for that extra energy. We can blink into either, like, we can use Shang or Enchantress, and then we can blink into like a Magneto, which is crazy strong. You turning a used Negasonic into a Shang, Enchantress, Gwenpool, or Galactus, if you do that right, is very strong. There's a lot of that kind of wildly powerful thing to do with this list. It was even, it lost the power on Gwenpool, but it gained the power on Blink, so it's net neutral in terms of power. This is utterly disgusting. When we get to our question of the day, I have some thoughts about the role of tech in this mode and what my basic thoughts on this are, but this is a really, really, really good deck. If you didn't want to play that last deck, you don't have Invisible in First Steps. If you can get toward this, this is sort of where you want to be. Next up, we have Doom. Doom is doing really, really well. Unrevealing 6 cards, cost 3 next turn. I thought that Agatha not being in the deck would really hurt this. It turns out it didn't so much. There's numerous Doom decks doing really well, so I'm very impressed. I would say this is probably the third best. It's still probably Herby best, then Thing, then this, but this one is really kicking butt. So this is, once again, I'm so sorry, Tech Soup, 74% win rate in 57 games. We have the ability to basically go Doom and Red Hulk on turn 5, or Magneto and Red Hulk on turn 5, and then we can spend turn 6 doing things like Shang, and if we Shang and Shadow King, or Lady Deathstrike and Shadow King, utter nonsense like that, or Lady Deathstrike and Red Guardian, like oh no, not Deathstrike and Red Guardian, Shang or Enchantress and Red Guardian. If you play Shang or any of these cards earlier, you can also copy them with Absorbing Man. Killmonger is utterly disgusting. Killmonger is here literally for that Sunspot. This is the meta counter. It is utterly brutal, ridiculously mean. This one doesn't even bother with Fenris Wolf, right? It just says, I'm going to run tech cards, and then I'm going to run Absorb Man so I can run more tech cards. Oh, and there were a few tech cards that those other decks didn't run, so how about we run Killmonger and Guardian Lady Deathstrike too? Yikes. This one is pure, like, ridiculous tech control, but it's a 74% win rate in 57 games, so, you know, it's doing the job. Next up, we have Supreme Summons, which is now 1 cost that gives -1 cost or +3 power, which is awesome. This one has become a reasonable spell. However, the win rate on anything with any kind of sample size on Mole Man remains the worst. As much as I think he's really, really good on ladder, or was really, really good on ladder until Invisible Woman put Killmonger in every freaking deck. That was frustrating, by the way. Like finding Killmonger in decks that I did not think Killmonger would be in. But this is a deck that only runs 1 tech card and has decent stats in a low sample. I don't think this one is probably great, but there's nothing with Mole Man that's great, and this one's at least cool, because you get to run Infinity Ultron, who's cool, and Gohori, who's cool, and Mole Man, who's cool, and then you can buff them all their stuff up with Victoria Hen, and you've got Mirage, and it's interactive and fun. This deck just doesn't compete on the points axis with the other things, right? Like if you run into a Invisible Woman deck, they're just going to go over the top of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That kind of thing is just sort of where this deck lives. It's really fun, but Mole Man is left behind in terms of power. Ooh, sorry. Extremely long work day. I'm struggling tonight. Yeah, this video is being recorded much later than usual because I had a very long work day. I came home. I went to dinner with my new boss. I came home. I'm all right. Hi, new friends. I moved to Vietnam like 2 weeks ago, and I had dinner with my. But like the longest work week, one of the longest work days of my life today. So we came home at like 9 p.m. and I immediately passed out and was like, oh my god, I gotta get the video done. And that's where we are. So I woke up to make sure that this video got done. Excuse me. But yeah, this deck just doesn't put up enough power. Is fundamentally where this lands. A lot of decks either have a lot of tech or a lot of power, and this deck doesn't quite do enough of either, which means Mole Man is a very cool card and a really good card on ladder, but not great here. Our last card is Carnage. Maximum card remains really, really powerful and really, really fun. It is the one off-theme card, but it is one I'm happy they included. And the big surprise of all things destroy here has been that Sabretooth stayed in all these lists. All the highest win rate versions run Sabretooth. In fact, Nico or Kid Omega is the difference. This one has a 69% win rate in 45 games with Nico, but what is it? 58% win rate in 170 games with Kid Omega in that spot. So either one is totally fine. Your goal is to destroy some shit. Sometimes you get lucky and you get to make a big Deadpool, but either which way, you want to destroy some shit. Eventually get like either a Venom or Null alone in the lane and Zola it. This deck is going to obviously run into trouble because, well, Shadow King, Shang-Chi, Enchantress, yada, yada, yada. There's just tech all over the place, and this deck just sort of gets punched in the face by it. I don't know. If you're not getting teched out, this puts up more power than almost anything. This can actually go over the top of the Invisible Woman stuff, where very, very few other decks can. It's a deck that natively runs Killmonger for its own reasons, so it just gets that as a tech card. It's a very good deck. But it's run over by all the tech, which is going to lead us to our season pass question. If you answer this in the comments, you are entered to win Mr. Fantastic First Steps. How do you feel about this mode after the changes? And how I feel is that we've hit a breaking point of tech cards in Marvel Snap, where I think we actually need to do something fairly drastic to them. I think that we need either a rotating ban list or something. The power of tech in Marvel Snap has become sort of absurd. And in this game mode, when you have extra energy, like you can do cool things, right? But we'll never know what the coolest thing you can do is, what the biggest and best combo you can do is, or any of that stuff, because like the three best decks and like, well, okay, so not the Invisible Woman deck, but most of the very best decks in this mode are in fact, guess what? Running like 4 tech cards, 5 tech cards, 6 tech cards. I mean, I get it. There has to be tech in Marvel Snap, otherwise the game becomes purely combo based and purely who puts up big numbers based. But I think, especially for modes like this, which is supposed to be fun, which are limited time, you got to let the numbers go crazy a little bit. And they tried, right? They got rid of Cannonball, they got rid of Juggernaut, but like all people did was go to the next tech card up, and that's like it's a little frustrating, and I get it. And especially if you're lower collection level, it's the best way to compete, but it does make the mode a lot less fun for me. Please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments if you're so inclined, where we do our very best to provide a ton of exclusive content. So check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. Thank you to Jonesy Snap 22, our patron of the month, Abigail Heason, Manager Burnett, It Regardless, LAB Inc., I Am Frostman, Hota, Navidete, Primed Ryan, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Snap, Ren Wrench, Gopher Kev, Keltor, Kirtix Lee, Koire, Kazushi, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Provost, The Goat Seeker, Code, Hallowed, Synth, Nick, Absolute Shannon, Dirty Casual, Dark Moogle, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philly, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Bizza, Black Jeebus 23, Extras, V and Skippy G, Rhyming Friends, Jessica Gamble, Mr. Slush Death, Picnic Bros, Bruh, Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kiev, Hoda Clam, Colonel Foreman, Rob Sullivan, David G. Wingfield, Stephen Barkoffman, Tristan Martin, Jason Butt, Matt V, Corin, John Q, and Jimmy McQ, Gestout 8th Sage, One Big Bad, Milkman for Reals, Cactus Jack, Reapser, Steve0131, Yo Marco, Ted Bro, Good Bro Joe's, Mrs. Joe. Check out Snap Decisions Podcast, please. Bickety Boom Bop, Bricks to Click, who has cracked the top 1K with the deck we'll be featuring tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Green Goblin, Unibot V2, Flan 56, Spectrum Mix, Only Fox, Matt H, the only one we need, DJ Mikey Magic, no frickin' flex, Nick the Geek, who's asleep, Toxic Soul King, who's probably awake, I'm just assuming, Zadrek 74, the King of Canada, JJ Denman, Falcon, Thor, Newman, Toot Ties, the Great Lord Devs, the Pirate King Tucker, and of course, Gunny T, the T stands for Toodles, babes. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Peace.